Oh my God, this is like so difficult, but I don't know if I'm actually on the. I don't know if I think I messed up big time. But anyway, I'll just be here for like 15 or 20 minutes and then I have to run back to the show. So hopefully you all can move over to this live because I'm so confused about how to start the other live. And I apologize for that. I guess I should have done my homework. But I'm in Vegas now at this show, so I had to run from the show to try to do this live. Maybe all of you can come from the other one to this one, and hold on here. Let me share this and see if I can get. I hope you all see me here. I just wanted to touch base with everybody. Hey, thanks for coming over. I'm doing this from my phone, so it's a big pain in my butt. Not you, but the app. For some reason, they don't make it easy to do this, I think, or to schedule it. But anyway, who cares about that? First off, what I want to say is hi, everybody. I'm really grateful for you all. As you know, I appreciate always you showing up for these conversations, and I really want to let you know that I think I see some semblance of responsibility, for lack of a better word, within the community, and I'm starting to see more and more people seeing what's happening is not okay, and the fact that I think what's happening is a lot of bully behavior. And so here's what I want to say. My last post on my Instagram, I'm not sure how many of you follow me on Instagram, but my last post on Instagram was a very important post for me to make. And if you haven't read it, I would really appreciate if you could go to my Instagram and read it. You don't have to follow me, you don't have to do any of that. But what I really want you to do is go read what I wrote. I also have a Substack, and I think it's buckangel.substack. I'm trying to hide my teeth because I haven't gotten them back yet. But that being said, my ego aside, I just have more important things to worry about than how I look. And so I really would appreciate if some of you could go read the post who haven't read it, because I think you'll see where I'm coming from and what I'm trying to do here, which is to be honest with you who are not transsexual people and are having to deal with a lot of nutters. And I got that from this YouTube guy that I follow. He calls all the crazy people nutters. And, it's just, what I'm trying to do is show you the difference between a person like myself, and there's many people like me, and what's happening in the world. And I don't feel aligned with the new trans movement. I do not feel aligned with lying to you about why I transitioned and why it's been an important journey for me for the last 30 plus years. And I think there's a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? There's a lot of deception. There's a lot of deception happening around trans, and I won't stand for that, because the only reason that I have such a beautiful, amazing life is because I don't deceive you. Some of you might think I'm trying to deceive you by my looks, but I'm not doing that in any way, shape, or form. What I'm trying to do in this world is coexist with you, and what I'm trying to do is make myself feel happy, right? Hi, Russia, and hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me in this last minute. It's going to be a short live today because I'm going to reiterate, I'm in Las Vegas at a show, and so I have to be at my booth. I'll send you, but my new company is called Demon Cat. Anyway, that being said, I just want you to know that the deception out there does not represent me, and it doesn't represent a lot of people who are not speaking out because they're not able to and they're scared to. And I'm in a position, really I am. I'm in a very, very good position that I can be honest and I don't have to hide who I am, and I don't want to. You must understand, I don't want to hide from you, and I don't want to hide the reality of why I needed to put myself in this space. So here's what I'm going to say. I made this very important post from my heart. I did, and it's something that I wanted to say. It's on my Instagram and on my Twitter and on my Substack. And most of every single one of you gave me so much love around it and really appreciated that I'm being honest with you. But you know, the people that gave me the hardest time with that post were trans people, not non-trans people, not regular, everyday people that walk the world like you and don't suffer with gender dysphoria or trans. The people that gave me the hardest time with a post that really came from my heart and really came from a space of wanting to be real with all of you, I was shocked at some of the things that a young generation of trans people were saying. I have internalized transphobia and that I'm siding with gender critical. I'm just like, what? You didn't sit and listen to what I wrote from my heart and my experiences. So what I'm trying to say here is this. That's where the schism lies. It doesn't lie between you and me. It lies in the trans community. And this is why all of this shit is happening. Because there are people in the trans community who are not willing, okay? Who are not willing to be honest with what it means to be a transsexual, and they've hijacked transsexualism. They've hijacked it in a way that is nothing to do with me or pretty much most of the people that I'm around who are trans people. And I have an obligation, and I want you to know this. I have a full-on obligation to step up and speak out. And I think anybody who is in my position, who has benefited from transition, who has benefited from, having the medication given to me and the access to the surgeries 30 years ago, would do the same as I do if they were not captured. Now, there are people who are in my position who are not speaking out and have been captured by this it's an ideology. Transsexualism is not an ideology. It is a means and a way to walk the world happy. And it has nothing to do with politics. It has nothing to do with being part of a group or any of that. To transition is to get back into the world. That's what transitioning is to get back into a space of being okay with yourself and not having to do what I have to do today, which is to talk about my biology continually. It's unbelievable. So I'm going to try to read your comments here for a minute, and then I can comment. Remember, I'm on my phone, and I'm in Vegas, which is insanely hot, but the whole world is hot right now. But here's, thanks, Aurelia. It says, I was once told that my views on trans medicalism are outdated. They're not outdated. They're not outdated. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. These people have hijacked what transsexualism is, what gender dysphoria is, why we transition, why we want to be who we want to be. And so there's a lot of hypocrisy, as you know, that within this whole movement. And the hypocrisy states that there is no biology, that you don't, like non-binary is trans, that anyone can be trans, that you don't need gender dysphoria, that shit like that. Medicalism is outdated. None of that is true. None of that. And here's why I'll tell you. Because there are young people like me. There are actual young transsexual people, maybe 20 years old, who are suffering in this movement because they're being told things that are not true. And it's making them feel as if they're questioning themselves. And that's not fair to do that when somebody feels like me but doesn't have a representation of themselves within the community, because the community ostracizes people like myself. So not only am I here for young 10-year-olds who are saying they're trans and taking I will not stand for that. And number two, I'm for young 20-year-old guys who just want to be and just want to function like me, and they see me and they want to be how I have walked the world. But the representation of me is considered transphobic, it's considered bigot, it's considered so many nasty things that why do you think any of those kids would want to transition? And I don't think that's fair. And I don't, that's exactly right, my friend. It's transsexual versus transgender. That's exactly right. And what I need for you to know and see an actual transsexual person who walks the world free and doesn't want to push on you and actually wants to be friends with you. And I make friends with the people that I don't care where you come from, but if you're a good person at heart, that you're my friend. And I don't need you to be a trans person, and I don't need to be part of a community that's nasty and mean and hateful and doesn't care about you because you're not trans or you don't understand. You know how you understand? Is by me sitting here having a conversation with you. That's how you understand. Not by telling you you're a bigot and you're a Nazi and you're a whatever the hell else they're calling you and me. That's not how me and you will exist in the world. So the reason I'm here, and the only reason I'm here, because you all know I don't need to do this. You all know that. I could literally be doing my businesses and being in a show with so many straight people. There's very few LGBT people here. This is a super, there are hundreds upon hundreds of people here, and they all like me. And nobody cares that I'm a tranny, and nobody cares that I am. They care about who and what I'm doing. And that's what I like to show you in the world. I exist in the world. I don't exist in a trans space, and I don't need to hate you in order for me to be a person who can walk this world. That's the behavior the young generation is being taught. They are being taught to hate you. They are being taught that you don't like them, right? They are being taught that you are against them. You are not. I prove it every day by doing these lives, right? I prove to the world and I prove to the trans community that you don't hate me and you don't hate transsexual people. What you hate is liars. You hate people who push and take children down a path that is irreversible. I will not stand for children being transitioned. Nope, I will not stand, and I don't care what you think about it. If you can say to me that you think children should transition, why can't I say I disagree with you? You understand what I'm saying? Why is it a bad thing for an old transsexual to tell you no, that's not okay? That says to me that you are lying. There's never any more debate. You don't even know, those trans terrorists, I call them, they don't know how to debate. And let me tell you this, kiddos out there, you young people, if somebody can't debate you, they don't have an argument. They don't have an argument. If somebody cannot have an opposing opinion, they don't have an argument. That means that they're trying to hide something. So I'm going to tell you something. When somebody blocks you or doesn't want to have a debate with you or calls you names, they have nothing. They have nothing. That's why I don't care. Because the people don't come to me and say, hey, wait a minute, Buck. I have proof to you that it works, that a 10-year-old can transition. And I can go, well, actually, I have proof that that doesn't work. But they won't even have that conversation with me. They just immediately shut me down, call me. I'm like, well, then you don't actually have an argument, do you? Because you don't want to have the discussion. You don't want to have the discussion. And I can say that with anything, politics, Trump versus Biden, blah, 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 who's better? Well, that's the whole point of living in the United States of America, kids. Let me just tell you this. The whole point of living here in this country is that I get to say what I want to say, whether you like it or not. I'm a huge freedom of speech advocate. And you can say what you want. You can say the F word to me constantly. I don't really care. I'm not going to stop you from saying that. Because I want to have the opportunity to tell you back, F you, and I want to tell you back, well, X, Y, and Z says to me that little 10-year-olds don't know what the F is going on. I have an 11-year-old kid. You know that? I have an 11-year-old kid. Every day of my life, I see that 11-year-old kid say things to me, and what do? I place that on top of a kid who's supposed to be trans, okay? And then I say to myself, you think this 11-year-old kid can make those choices? He can't. He's seeking me to help him make those choices that he makes. And I let him mess up constantly. I let him do things that he makes mistakes. And I say, see, I told you. There you go. You made the mistake. Now what? So I think I told you the story. We were traveling, I forgot, back east. And I made him carry his own backpack, his own suitcase. This is a 10-year-old little boy. And his brand new cool jacket that he got from his friend. And what did he do? He left his jacket on the seat when we boarded the plane out in the waiting area, right? So we get on the plane and I look I'm like, where's your jacket, dude? He's like, I'm like, no, where's your jacket? For real? He's like, I left it on the seat outside. I'm like, you're kidding me. Your brand new jacket you left on the seat. And he looked at me like, what do I do now? And I'm like, yeah, what do we do now, kiddo? And so we tried to tell the flight attendant, and you know what the flight attendant said? Well, I'll call out there to see if it's there. And she did, and no one saw a jacket. And she said, you cannot get off the plane. If you get off the plane, my kid isn't trans. My kid is just a normal kid. I would never transition my kid. That being said, I said to him, now what? Now what are we going to do? You're not going to get off the plane, dude, because if you get off the plane, you're not going to get back on the plane. You just lost your jacket. You just lost your jacket. And guess what he learned? To never leave his jacket. You understand what I'm trying to say here? I think most of the parents in this room, you've got to let your kid make mistakes. You've got to let your kid find their way. You know, you cannot just let a kid say, I'm trans, Mom, and I want to be a boy or a girl. Okay, what does that actually mean to you, kiddo? What does that mean? Let's get you into a therapist who will take some time, not say you're trans in 2 seconds, but take some time with you. It's what I keep trying to tell you. There is no way a 10-year-old says, I'm trans, and is willing to take puberty blockers and willing to change everything until they get to be an age where they're like, maybe I made a mistake. Are you willing as a parent to make that mistake? That's not just losing your jacket. That's losing a whole segment of your life that you will never get back. Are you actually willing to do that to a young person? I'm not. This saved me at 30 years old. What happened was I lived a life of a lot of things, kids. I did drugs, I did alcohol, I did all kinds of messed up stuff. And it's why I'm so solid today. And I know I don't want to do drugs anymore. And I don't want to be a slung out alcoholic on the street. I ended up homeless. I ended up with nothing. I'm not saying that's what you should let your kid do, but you've got to let your kid find space in order to understand, to make a huge decision of transitioning is not just, I'm going to change your clothes, and if you decide you want to change your mind when you're 20, we're going to do that. That's not what transitioning a child is. Until we have, and I just don't think it'll ever be a possibility. I'll be honest with you. I just don't think it'll ever be a possibility. Not in my lifetime. And I just don't believe that a kid should go down that path. Because gender dysphoria is not funny. It's not fun. There's nothing good about transitioning. There's a lot of bad things that come with the good. And the trans community isn't willing to talk about the bad. They're only talking about this good. And if you see they're putting these words in kids' mouth, trans joy, queer joy, blah, blah, really? Really? I can tell you a lot of non-joyous parts of this. When you first transition, your dysphoria is huge. Going into the toilet is huge. Thinking people see you as a different, there's so many levels of this. I'm now this because look at me, and I don't have dysphoria anymore because nobody sees me as a woman. They see me as a man. But when you're putting a kid into a space to have to live the other gender, you don't think there's a lot of baggage that goes on with that? There is. And I don't understand why people aren't being honest about that. I'm going to be honest with you. I would never put a kid in that space. So I have about a minute more, and I have to run back to my booth, but I'll be sending pictures and posting about that today. So, one of the things I want to leave you with is this. Don't just think transition is a one-way street. It's not. There's a lot of heaviness that goes with this. And there's a lot of things that you're not being told. And I'm not the leader of the trans community. I never was, and I never will be, and I don't want to be. What I am is a leader for truth and justice, and I consider myself on some level a freedom fighter. That's the label I really want to take on. I'm a freedom fighter, and that means that you and I have to exist in this world together by letting ourselves be free to do the things that we as adults need to do. Whatever that is to you, I don't think I have the right to question that, as you don't have the right to question my lifestyle. But we need to be here for the kids. That's all. We just need to be here for the kids. There are creepy weirdos who are using these platforms to lure, to act as if their parents aren't good enough for them. There are creepy weirdos who are saying things to vulnerable little kids that are not okay with me. And I see it. I see it. And I will not stand for it. So it doesn't matter what you and I do as adults in this world. Go and do it. Do whatever you need to do that makes you happy. I'm all for it. Okay? The one thing that we cannot ever do is mess with children. And when you start, that name, I'm not even going to say it. You all know who I'm talking about. Before I go, I'm going to tell you this. Okay, you all see the name right there. I'm not even going to say it. Jeffrey, I'm not going to say the whole name. Just go watch one of that person's videos without the sound. I'll tell you how you know. Without the sound. Oh, thank you, friend. I appreciate that a lot. Go listen to that weirdo without the sound. You'll see it all. It is so absurd that that person is put on a pedestal. It is so the eyes, the mouth when they speak. You can watch all the mannerisms. I have a video coming out that was really intense for me to edit, and Seth, I don't know if Seth is here right now, but Seth is going to be putting up. It is so intense. Yeah, you can interview me. Just send me my email is in the bio here. Anyone who wants to interview or have a talk with me, please reach out. I'm available. But you will be blown away by my next interview. It is so heartbreaking. It is so insane. Oh, thank you, friend. I so much appreciate that. It is so insane. You won't even believe what this woman went through as a young person. And it's going to expose a lot of what's happening today. And this person stepped up to the plate. They had to wear a mask, and because what they tell you, I mean, it was so hard for me to edit that. I cried a lot because I care about the kids. And we're losing our space. We are losing it. What are we doing? I can't cry here because I'm like in front of a bunch of people, but we can't do this to kids. And the only thing and the only responsibility that all of you have out there is to make sure kids are not put into a space where they will never get out of, ever. And it freaks me out beyond belief that we are even doing this to kids. I'm just blown away. And yeah, I'm outraged. And that's why it makes me cry, because I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I can't stand that people are just acting like it's normal. It's not just the trans stuff, you know that. This online stuff is creepy. And as a dad and as an uncle and as a person who cares about a younger generation, I just hate it. And it makes me so mad. It just makes me so mad that we can't come together as adults and push back on these freaks, because it's not okay. So I'm going to go because I'm crying and I can't look like this here. I got to be. But here's what I want to say. I saw that movie, The Sound of Freedom. You know, I took my partner, Rachel, to it. She didn't want to go. She was listening to all the rhetoric out there. And I said, please just take that out of your head. Take that rhetoric out of your head and the lies that they're saying, and just come with me to watch it. And you know what? She changed her mind after she watched it. She said it was the most profound. She's a filmmaker, by the way, my partner Rachel. She's a filmmaker, and she said it was so well done. I'm going to tell you, that's a big deal for somebody like her to say that, okay? It's so well done. If you haven't seen the movie, put all the other stuff you're hearing, I ask you, okay? I ask you as a person who cares about kids, I ask you to put it to the side. Don't listen to the rhetoric. It was so hard for me to watch. I mean, my partner, from the minute, I'm laughing because it's just so crazy. From the minute that movie started, she was crying hysterically. And I was like, do you need to leave when we can leave? But she was like, no. But everyone in the movie theater was crying. It's heavy. I mean, it took me a couple days. Yeah, I'm very happy I transitioned. There's no turning. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say here. I'm trying to tell you that it's the best thing I ever did was transition at 30. I did not transition as 10. You can't transition at 10. You can't make that choice. Here's something very profound to take with you today, okay? I'm going to give you this. How can anyone know they are trans without going through puberty? How? How can you know that you are transsexual or trans? How can you know you have gender dysphoria if you're not going through puberty? Puberty is the actual thing you need in order to know that you need to transition. Without puberty, you have no idea what it means to be a boy or a girl. You understand what I'm saying? It's so profound. Take that from me and from my Russian interview. She's the one who told me that. And it's the most profound, excellent thing that you can use against anyone who keeps saying kids should transition. Kids are not going through puberty. How do they know they are trans? Or how do they know they have gender dysphoria? The only way you can know you have gender dysphoria is by going through puberty. And that is a really important part of this message, okay? Oh, you're a funeral director? Wow. Just go watch Sound of Freedom. I don't care what you think about that. Forget the politics. Forget all the weirdos saying it's QAnon. And listen to Tim Ballard. Go watch his interviews. You know, you've got to research for yourself. It is so important. Don't listen to the media. They're all full of shit. Don't listen to anybody out there. Everyone has an opinion, including me. I have an opinion. But what I'm asking you to do is do your own research. And don't listen to those people. Go watch the movie. And I guarantee you'll walk from that movie with a different frame of mind. And when people don't want you to hear or see things, that's when you should do it. When people don't want you to see it, that's when you should do it. That means they're hiding something, okay? So go do it. Even if you're against everything, go watch it. Because I almost will guarantee you'll change your mind, okay? I love you guys a lot. You mean a lot to me, okay? Oh, there's a lot going on there with the Sound of Freedom, you guys, and it's all coming out. So that being said, pardon me, go and have a beautiful day, okay? And know that everything that I do from my heart. And in no way, shape, or form do I ever want to stop anyone who actually needs to transition. But transitioning is an adult space, and you will never change my mind around that. And I know a lot as a 30-year-old tranny, and that's why you better watch out. All you trans terrorists, you better watch out, because I'm not sitting down. People like Blair White have really given me a platform, and I will continually thank Blair White, because she is a very good friend of mine. She cares about these kids too. And so do your thing, people. Use whatever information I can give you to help people understand what's happening is tragic and child abuse, and we cannot stand for it. So I'm going to send you all love and from the show, and I'll be posting pictures on my Instagram, and go read my post. I'd really love to hear your feedback on that, and I always appreciate you showing up, and I'll see you next week. Oh gosh, when I get next week, I'm actually getting my teeth fixed, and hopefully I'll have my teeth I mean, literally, I'm grandpa right now. Hopefully I'll have my teeth by next week, and it'll be a whole different ball game. But I'm going to leave you with this as well. I keep leaving you with shit, but I'm going to leave you with that. Take care of your teeth. It changed my life. Once I got this fixed, I feel like a different person. You really can get sick from having bad teeth, and I just kept ignoring it because I'm that kind of guy. It's like, I got to get to work and, forget my own stuff. Even though I work out and I eat healthy, and I don't know why I was avoiding my teeth. I really was avoiding this, and then it got really bad, and here's where I'm at. So all you young people out there, don't think that flossing and brushing and doing all those things aren't important, because they are, and you don't want to be in a position that I'm in. $10,000 later. Dentistry is insanely expensive. And that's why I'm working my ass off to pay for my teeth now. So I love you all. Thank you always for joining me. And I'll see you guys all in the next live next week, okay? So have a great day, and I always appreciate you.